The universe is vast and mysterious, and our curiosity drives us to explore it. NASA stands as a testament to humanity's relentless desire to reach beyond our world. We don't just see stars, we see destinations and questions waiting for answers. To find those answers, we must go beyond looking, we must venture out. Space is harsh, a vacuum full of radiation with no up or down. Before giant leaps, we took small, sometimes strange steps, experiments to understand the unknown. NASA's mission is more than building rockets. It's about learning how to survive and thrive in space. This means asking odd questions and running unusual experiments. How does fire burn in zero gravity? How do plants grow? What happens to spiders in space? These odd tests are pieces of a larger puzzle, what it means to be a spacefaring species. Each experiment, no matter how bizarre, teaches us about life and our potential to explore. So, let's dive into some of NASA's most peculiar scientific adventures. These aren't just stories of engineering, they're stories of human ingenuity. From tiny creatures to the human body, NASA has explored the effects of space in ways that seem bizarre at first. But within each odd experiment lies a profound lesson about our universe. Every strange test is a step toward understanding our place in the cosmos. Let's peel back the curtain and see what happens when curiosity is unleashed in space. The journey begins with the weird, the wonderful, and the truly unexpected. Spiders are master architects on Earth, but what happens to their instincts in space? In 1973, two garden spiders, Arabella and Anita, became the first arachnid astronauts aboard Skylab. The question, could they spin webs in zero gravity? At first, Arabella floated aimlessly, her web a chaotic mess. Gravity, it turned out, was her compass, and without it she was lost. But after a few days, something remarkable happened. Arabella adapted. Her webs became structured, almost as perfect as on Earth. Her brain rewired itself, learning to build in a world with no up or down. This experiment revealed the incredible adaptability of life, even in its smallest forms. Instincts shaped by evolution could be overcome by learning. Arabella and Anita became unlikely heroes, showing us the resilience of the nervous system. If a spider's brain could adapt to zero-G, maybe human brains could too. Their journey hinted at our own potential to adjust to life beyond Earth. The image of a spider floating in space became a symbol of hope for our cosmic future. Even the smallest creatures can teach us how to thrive in the unknown. Meet the Vomit Comet, a cargo plane turned zero-gravity simulator. To prepare astronauts for weightlessness, NASA needed a way to simulate it on Earth. The solution? A plane that climbs steeply, then dives, creating 25 seconds of weightlessness. It's not a joyride motion, sickness is common, earning the plane its nickname. But it's more than astronaut training, it's a flying laboratory. In those brief zero-G intervals, scientists test how fire burns, how fluids behave, and even how to perform surgery in microgravity. Each parabolic arc is a short visit to an alien world. Dozens of these arcs per flight add up to precious minutes of research. The Vomit Comet lets NASA test ideas quickly and cheaply before sending them to space. It's a place to fail, learn, and refine. The bizarre experience of floating in a padded airplane has paved the way for nearly every human spaceflight. It's one of NASA's most practical and strangest tools. Sometimes the weirdest experiments are the most essential. The Vomit Comet proves that a little discomfort can lead to big discoveries. The spacewalk, an astronaut floating above Earth, is iconic, but our first attempts were anything but graceful. In 1966, Gemini 9 astronaut Gene Cernan tested a jetpack in space. The reality was a nightmare. Every movement sent him spinning, his suit fought against him, and his heart raced. Even simple tasks became monumental struggles. The real shock came when his helmet fogged up from sweat and heat. He was blind in the vacuum of space. Isolated and exhausted, Cernan barely made it back inside. The jetpack test failed, but the lessons were invaluable. NASA realized they'd underestimated the difficulty of working in space. They needed better cooling, improved suits, and new training methods. Cernan's ordeal led to underwater training tanks and safer spacewalks. His terrifying experience transformed how we approach EVAs. Sometimes failure is the best teacher. The bizarre challenges of early spacewalks made future missions safer. Every misstep brought us closer to mastering life outside our planet. The path to the stars is paved with strange, hard-won lessons, and every lesson brings us closer to the cosmos. Living in space means solving everyday problems like how to take a shower. On Earth, gravity pulls water down. In space it floats and clings to everything. For Skylab, NASA built a bizarre shower, a collapsible curtain, a spray nozzle and a vacuum to suck up floating droplets. The process was anything but relaxing. It took 2 hours to set up shower and clean everything. Water was limited, so astronauts had to be efficient. Special soap minimized suds, avoiding floating foam disasters. Most astronauts found the shower so cumbersome they preferred wet wipes. But this odd experiment was crucial for long-term space living. It taught NASA about water management, humidity and hygiene in confined spaces. Lessons from Skylab's shower shaped future systems on the shuttle and ISS. Sometimes the simplest comforts are the hardest to recreate in space. Chasing water blobs with a vacuum became a symbol of adaptation. Even hygiene can be a science experiment in orbit. What does a year in space do to the human body and our DNA? NASA's twin study used identical astronauts Mark and Scott Kelly to find out. Scott spent nearly a year on the ISS, Mark stayed on Earth as a control. Scientists ran countless tests, blood, cognitive, and full genome sequencing. The results were fascinating and strange. Scott's telomeres, which usually shorten with age, actually lengthened in space, then returned to normal on Earth. About 7% of his genes showed long-term changes in expression. The study revealed how spaceflight affects immunity, DNA repair, and more. It was the most detailed look ever at the human body in space. The twin study gave us a roadmap for protecting astronauts on long missions. It showed that space changes us at the deepest level. This experiment wasn't just about two brothers, it was about all of us. Understanding these changes is key to future journeys to Mars and beyond. The answers lie in our genes and in our willingness to explore. From spiders in space to twins' genes changing in orbit, NASA's strangest experiments have taught us the most. These aren't just odd stories, they're essential steps on the path to discovery. Each experiment answers a question we didn't know we needed to ask. The unexpected and the failed tests are often the most valuable. They reveal hidden dangers and surprising possibilities. The Vomit Comet, the Skylab shower, the twin study, each has shaped modern spaceflight. These are not isolated anecdotes, but threads in our cosmic journey. We must keep asking weird questions and trying strange experiments. The future of humanity in space depends on it. As we look to the moon and Mars, new bizarre challenges await. How do we grow food on Mars? How do we cope with distance from home? The answers will come through curiosity and ingenuity. In space, there's no such thing as a silly question, only new frontiers to explore.